You about to check out this update on the whole Crowder versus the Daily Wire situation. It's nasty. It's a lot of nastiness and craziness going out in these streets, man. I ain't choosing no side. I'm gonna just keep it real on both sides and what I think each side is wrong with. We're gonna check out a video from D-Day Cobra. I like their content. I enjoy it. And it seems like they was extremely honest. So let's hear what they got to say. If you want to watch the video uninterrupted, go check out the description. It should be linked down there, fam. And I want you to do that anyway. All right, let's get straight into it.
TimCast IRL was a wild one tonight, and I find myself more torn than ever on this topic. This topic between Steven Crowder and the Daily.
It's crazy. So I knew he was going to be on Crowder. I knew Crowder was going to be on TimCast, right? I knew it, especially after the whole Candace Owens going on there. He announced it. I think Tim announced it on that video that Crowder's going to be there the next week. Right. So I knew it was going to be smoke. I knew a lot of craziness was going to be discussed, man. I already knew it was about to go wild.
The Wire. I truly do not know where I stand on this one. It's so tough because, as I've said, I'm not a big fan of either. I respect both parties. I've never watched Crowder. I've never found him to be entertaining, but the man clearly is a big deal. 166,000 people were watching TimCast IRL tonight. One of the biggest episodes I've seen. And then with the Daily Wire.
Crazy. You knew people was going to be up in there. You knew. I wonder if they read the super chats though. Like I know people was really throwing some hard hitting questions in there. I want to see. Did Tim give him like a easy interview? Did you let him slide with a lot?
I really liked a lot of what the Daily Wire was doing, but in the past year with their anti-Trump nonsense and a lot of their positions has been a big turnoff to me. I greatly appreciate what they're doing. Yeah. We've done some work with the Daily Wire in the past, and they've been great with us. But I really hate the anti-Trump stuff. It really pisses me off. So I don't have a dog in the fight. And the more I look into this, the more I'm continuing to be torn. Although I lean towards Daily Wire on this because Steven Crowder and the approach and how this whole thing is played out seems disingenuous to me. But I don't feel that.
Especially if you're a business owner, bro. If you're a business owner or you're used to conducting business, certain things are going to not sound right to you, right? It's going to sound like, to me, when I first started hearing Crowder's argument, I was like, this sounds like a lot of like almost socialism or like, if not that, communism, right? It sounds like a lot of those type of arguments where it's like the business should put the creator or the artist or the talent ahead of them, which realistically, how is the business supposed to keep going? Like that's crazy. So like Crowder wanted the company Daily Wire to take all the hits and all the risk while he gets paid no matter what. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on. Especially the way Crowder be wilding out. Come on, man. Come on. That's not realistic business wise. Right? That's like if I show up to work one day out the week and I'm like, well, how come my check is missing all these days? But you didn't show up to work, BXBeastBoy. You're supposed to pay me anyway. That's crazy. That sounds wild. Nobody that's into business is going to say that sounds like the right thing.
Strongly about it yet, but I'm leaning towards Daily Wire slightly. Now, there's a lot going on with this entire situation. Mark Dice had his super chats completely ignored, and then
let me know if my mic is going in and out. I just want to make sure, guys. Let me know if my mic is good.
Yes, Tim Pool acknowledged it towards the end, but then he says YouTube deletes them. That's not true, at least from my perspective. Now, Tim Pool gets a hell of a lot more super chats than I'll ever get, probably. But if you go to the back end, it logs every single super chat from every live stream that you've ever done. So I don't really understand that argument. It deletes them live, like on the live feed publicly after a certain amount.
Okay, that's what he was trying to say. He's capping. If Tim Pool said that he couldn't read certain messages because they got deleted, he's full of crap. That's bull crap. I could pull up right now donations from months ago if I wanted to, right? If I could just, there's a tab, like the creators, it allows you to do that on YouTube. You can go into your tabs and look and show you every donation with the message included, telling you, pretty much what people said. Right. So he's capping. That's hella cap. As he's just capping. If he said that, he just didn't want to read that message.
On a time, depending on how long the super chat is, but you can go to the back end and get that. But at the same time, I mean, little bitty geeks and gamers, we have people that keep up with the super chats for us during the show. So you would think Tim Pool could do something like that, but I guess people's money just isn't that important to them, and they don't read every super chat anyway. But yeah, Mark Dice, his work completely ignored, along with so many others, and that's fine. Tim hardly ever reads more than...
That's crazy that they're not reading all the super chats. That's insane to me. And you must be getting into where you like, I ain't gotta read these. It's not important. And he's like, this is no point. No point in even reading this. I'm out here stacking it. Oh, y'all had something to say to me? Okay, even if you paid to say it, I'm not going to read it. That sounds crazy.
Maybe 5% of his super chats anyway. But there were some dingers in there that I really wish he could have read, specifically Mark Dice's. Now, there was a lot of softballs being thrown by Tim Pool to Steven Crowder. I'll give Luke credit because Luke actually asked a tough question about Not Gay Jared, a former employee of Louder with Crowder, who a lot of people have brought up. And again, as someone that's never really watched Steven Crowder, that name, Not Gay Jared, has come up a lot. And apparently he was once an employee. He voluntarily quit, from what I understand. And he gave a notice and everything, but he's been under NDA. Again, there's nothing really wrong with that scenario. A lot of companies do NDAs, and I think that they're necessary in certain situations. But Steven Crowder's doing the holier than thou. Oh, the power in the individual. Company, big people shouldn't be holding small people down. And you're like, well, you have former employees that are under NDA. So,
yeah. I'm telling you, like, everything he's saying goes against like regular business practices, which he probably went against himself. I know the YouTube thing sounded crazy when it was like, Daily Wire shouldn't be having to deal with YouTube or depend on YouTube. And it's like, Crowder, you do videos on YouTube every day, even though you stand against him in a way. So yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, it's just the whole thing just seems weird. So when Luke asked him, he completely dodged it. But then Luke followed up to his credit, and still Steven danced around it a little bit. There's a lot of reaction over on Twitter. You got Viva, which I know Barnes, and obviously I know Viva and Barnes. I know Barnes better than Viva. Barnes is 100% on Crowder's side. Viva seems to be on Daily Wire's side, which is interesting. And here's Viva says, and here you have it. Team Crowder literally arguing the same exact thing that Daily Wire was arguing. They want to stay on YouTube. It's the biggest platform. It's the biggest reach. Crowder.
Yeah, you got to play ball. Like, to some extent, yes. I'm on YouTube. Can they suspend me at any moment's notice? Yeah. Have they suspended me for stuff that was like crazy foul in my personal opinion? Yeah. But like I didn't feel like I deserved it. But you look at me, I'm still on here. You kind of got to play ball, man. This is the biggest platform.
Or just doesn't want to bear the risk. Confession through projection.
Right. We talked about this. Like, you built your career on YouTube. Is what the argument that people use. Right. Last 3 years unmonetized. It's like, yes, we're trying to speak the most truth to the greatest number of people possible. It's not, we can't just all have behind the paywall honest conversations. Right. Because then you don't affect people at the biggest possible, tech company out there. So do that. But don't go so far as to play by this additional set of rules that really restricts what you're able to say. And punish the creators. Right. We talked about this.
Why can't, so it sounds to me like they agree in theory. They just didn't agree with the mandate of